Fuck fat and spicy.
What's up, bro?
Hey, man.
How you been, man?
Time
How
to
you
do the
been?
fat and spicy show, man.
Yeah, I know you done called me like 6 times, dude.
I do. I'm gonna call you, and I'm gonna call you 6 times more. You know me, and dude, answer in the
Somebody's gotta wake me
morning.
up, dude. Because my alarm clocks don't go off. You know what I'm saying? They do, I guess, but I don't hear them. So do they really go off? You know what I'm saying? If I don't
My
hear them,
wife, my
you
wife
know,
said, yeah. So my wife has to be to work at 7 a.m. Her alarm goes off at 5:15, like just like that. 5:15, alarm goes off, and then it gets snoozed until 6:30 every 9 minutes, which means I wake up at 5:30 in the morning every 9 minutes from then on until she gets up.
Jesus, dude, that's horrible. I trust me.
Can't
Look, man.
stand it.
Look. I wish that I could, cause I wish that I could wake up at like 7, but I have to wake up at like 6 to get my daughter ready, cause she's not gonna hear her alarms. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta wake up and get her ready. And then by that time, I'm like, I can't go back to bed. You know,
Hmm.
because we
Hmm.
don't leave. Like it takes for girls, women. It takes them hours to get ready. Guys are just like, you know, ha, yeah, yeah, it's alright. Let's go. You know, slick the hair back. That's it, and we're out the door.
Oh no, my two boys got it in their heads that all you need to do in the shower is armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth. That's it. I'm like, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
the bird bath of the century, dude.
I'm telling you, it's like, no, dude, get in there and scrub the crevices.
Yeah, man, you got to, dude. I
You
never
got to.
understand, man. Look, there's days. Don't get me wrong. There's days when I come off of work, dude, 12-hour shifts, and I'm dragging myself through the door. I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah, dude, I gotta get a shower, gotta get ready to jump in the bed. There's days that I don't make it in the shower, and those days I sleep either on the couch. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll pass out on the couch.
You don't want to bring that funk to your
Yeah,
bedroom.
exactly, dude. And I don't
No,
understand
no,
how
no,
people
no.
just get home, pass out on the bed. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that I don't. You know, there's days that I just pass out, but I do pass out. But I sleep on the couch. You know what I'm saying? And they'll Kylie come in and ask me, she's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing's wrong. I'm just fucking dirty.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong. I just don't want to jar dirty at the bed where I sleep at.
I'm I'm one of those guys. I have to like I get out of bed, I walk straight into the bathroom, I take a leak, I'm in the shower. Like just like that. If I don't get a shower in the mornings, I'm not me, dude. Like that's my wake up. I get time to, clean, focus. My brain kind of wakes up. I don't have
Are
any.
you a
It's
hot
my
shower
private time.
dude or like a?
It it depends. So in the mornings, I'm a really hot shower guy. But like in the afternoons, if I've been working around the house and like doing some heavy duty shit, when I'm done, I'm always warm. And I live in Southern California, Northern California, where it's humid here by the beach.
Yeah.
So I go upstairs, I take a shower before bed. Those are always cooler. Because come on, man, isn't there nothing like being nice and kind of cool from the shower, drying off, then slipping
I'll,
into some
I'll tell you what
jammies
I
and getting
do.
in
You know what
bed?
I'm saying? I'll tell you what I do. I always take warm baths. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like I want room temperature warm showers. Like if I was sitting under a waterfall, you know,
What?
like I want I
Are you a
want a warm
psychopath?
I want a warm shower. I don't want too hot. It's gonna burn my skin. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you what I do. I do take hot. I do let the water run hot when I wash my face.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like steam my face.
Yes.
And at the end of my shower, when it's all said and done, when I'm about to get out, that sucker goes to cold. As
Oh,
cold as it
really?
goes.
Okay. All right. So you shock yourself
Yeah,
out
that's
of the
my that's
warm,
my
and
little foom. You know what I'm saying? Like oh, and I'm like, yep, I'm fresh. I'm ready. Let's do it. You
I
know?
dig it.
Yeah, so I gotta get that, man. If one day, man, we gotta do a show where me and you meet up and we take a fucking ice bath, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
just a cold
no,
plunge, just
no,
you know, just
no.
dip and everything just shrivels up.
I'm,
You know what I'm
dude, I'm
saying?
48 years old. Everything's already shriveled. There's nothing left to
Yeah,
shrivel, dude.
exactly. It's gonna shrivel even more. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be like, welcome back to the Fat and Spicy Show.
So I'm home a lot, right? And I'm listening to a lot of shows on the TV while I'm doing my housekeeping or when I'm working on the shows or whatnot, when I'm writing, answering them, whatever. And one thing that I'm noticing with a lot of these podcasters is they're all into these cold plunges now and hot sauna baths and stuff. And I'm like, when did this become a thing? Like, I'm not into the cold. I don't want to get frozen for 30 seconds. It's just not, if I want to do something like that, I'll do what you do. I'll turn the fucking shower on cold at the end of it.
Yeah,
But
don't get me wrong. That's nice. You know what I'm saying? You can do that too. You
But
know,
they're
I
like,
think
oh,
I
this
think
is
I
36
think they
degrees.
do
Let's
it.
get in.
They do it for the factor of the bringing the audience in. They want to see that, like, oh man, kind of like the episode, like, the show Hot Ones, where they eat the hot wings.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
has a niche. You know what I'm saying? They do the cold plunge. This
That's
is
true.
one of those things. I want to do it more or less for the health benefits.
I just don't see any health benefits in it.
Yeah, man, we're gonna shock your metabolism up. You know what I'm saying? Get your body
You
heat
want to
up.
shock my metabolism? Give me 12 hours without a beer. I'll go into shock.
Spicy, wake up! Jesus Christ, dude.
You get this guy an IV of Coors stat.
Oh my god, dude. That is fucking
Oh,
ridiculous. Oh, speaking of beers, dude, I got one right here, and I got this bad boy right here, dude. Look at
what
this.
is that?
Look at this. This is
What's the brand?
It was
Oh,
Romeo.
Romeo and Julieta.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
dude.
Those are good cigars. Not bad.
Yeah,
What is it?
man.
$6?
I think this was about 12. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm. Nice.
You know what I'm saying? I bought this, and I wanted, because I wanted to want to get it. I've always had that. Who doesn't want to be that man that's sipping on the bourbon, smoking a cigar.
Just admit it, dude. You just want to be spicy.
I want to be spicy. You know what I'm saying? I want to be cool. I want to be like, but no. Because I always say the same thing. People always like, I don't like beer. I'm like, there's a beer for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Or like people be like the same thing with concept, but they're like, I don't like anime. I'm like, there's an anime for everybody. Same thing with a cigar. And I just want to find my cigar. You know what I'm saying? I want to find something that's nice for me. You know, but you got to try in order to do it. It doesn't mean I want to start like a smoking habit. No.
No.
But sometimes you want to celebrate. Sometimes there's things that you want to celebrate. Sometimes you want to have a little extra fun. And that's more or less what this is like. And I'll tell you what happened when I went to go buy this thing right here. There was some kids out. I won't say kids. Let's just say there was some young adults that had forgot their ID. And he asked me to buy some rolling papers.
Oh, just papers?
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I was like,
I'll buy you a pack. Yeah, I won't buy you a beer. I'll buy you a fucking. I'll buy you a pack of wraps.
so I bought him a pack of wraps, and in my mind, I'm like, is it the right thing to do? Not really, but in my mind, I'm also like, he's already got the worst part of it. He's already got the main. He's already got the main ingredient. Like, I'm not selling him the main shit. You know what I'm saying? He's already got the main fucking ingredient. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what the fuck?
Right? It's like it would be like if you had beers and he'd ask you to go to get a bottle opener.
Yeah, like,
All
hey,
right.
fuck. I mean, you already got the beers. You're gonna get them open one way or the other. I'd rather you open them the right way than trying to break them or cut yourself with a fucking knife.
Yeah. You know what they could do if they were smart is they just go do it the old school way that we used to do.
Get an
We just
apple.
go get a
dude,
pop
or-
can. No, we just get a can
Oh yeah.
and crush it flat, poke some holes in the top.
We're
put
not
it
showing.
there,
This
and-
is for educational purposes.
I'm just
only,
saying
guys.
this is no. This is just stroll down memory lane, and we'd sit in a parking garage over by this place. And we'd just be sitting there passing the can back and forth.
I never smoked out of a can, man. I'll tell you that. I never smoked out of a can. I'll tell you this. When I was dumb and young, and really dumb and young, and really young, let's emphasize that, I tried newspaper.
Oh, you don't want to know.
It was bad. It
Don't
was
do
bad.
that.
It was horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible experience. You know
You
what I'm
actually
saying?
rolled weed in a newspaper?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
How did that taste?
It's bad. Really bad. It ruined everything.
Tastes like weed and lies.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bad weather reports. Oh man, I tried that, dude, and I'll tell you, when I was little, dude, I smoked some grass. It's like the little straw, like a little piece of straw. Cause I mean, in the end, you're like, you don't know nothing about.
You don't
nothing.
know nothing. Yeah, right.
You just see, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You see a cigarette butt on the floor, you're like, what's that? And you're, well, what is it? What do you know?
Dude, I got royally in trouble for the first time I got caught smoking cigarettes.
Oh yeah. How'd
So
that go?
my dad was a smoker, and me and my little cousin, my cousin was living with us at the time.
Was he a midnight toker though?
No. No, we weren't. It was fourth grade, dude. Third or fourth grade. And my dad had his ashtray out in the garage, and I had taken one of his butts, and I put it in my mouth, and I lit it up. And when I lit it, the flame torched the top of my hair. Well, here's the thing. A couple days later, it was almost, I think it was the next day, or it had to be that night or something. I had to go get a haircut. And my barber, this old lady named Peggy, she was like, "Did you burn your hair?" I was like, "No." And I instantly knew that she knew, and she, like, no. And she's like, that's freshly burnt, son. And my dad's sitting right across from me, and he fucking instantly knew. So after I get my haircut, we go up to the car, and he's like, how many cigarettes did you smoke? And I got the shit kicked out of me for it, but that was the giveaway. Was I burnt my hair with the lighter, and the barber called me out in front of my dad. That's
Damn,
how I got caught.
dude.
Yeah,
Yo, fuck you, Peggy.
that's what. She was a sweetheart. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, she was
But
adamant.
on that day, you know what I'm saying? Damn. You should
I
have
was
hit her
that
with the
close to getting away with it.
God, you should have hit her with the Peggy.
Peggy, oh, I burned it with propane.
Yeah, exactly. I would have been like, "What, Bert? Yeah, I know." I was looking out at the candles. Shoot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no,
How,
that wasn't a good time. But
how was that mass?
how old were you the first time you actually did you ever get your hands on a cigarette and try it?
Man, like I said, it was never like I never had a lighter growing up. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't no pyromaniac. But like I said, I did see the butts on the floor in some points. I remember picking one up and and like nothing. And I was like, oh, this fucking junk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because again, like I said, you know, and unless you see the full aspect, like I never really saw my dad light up a cigarette. He always had one in his mouth, at some point. And my dad went like in his earlier years, he was a smoker. My grandpa smoked a lot, and I remember my grandpa smoked Marlboro Reds, and he would always, I remember memories of him riding me around on riding the lawnmower, little green John Deere. We would cut grass, and he smelled like cigarettes. He smelled like Marlboro Reds. But he always
Hmm.
kept that pack. He wore these red and black flannel button ups. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Long sleeves, big wool, kind of jacket.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he kept that Marlboro Red pack right there with his lighter, just
Right in the shirt pocket.
yeah, right in the shirt pocket.
Yep.
And like just being surrounded by those people that did that. You grow up and you're like, oh, this is what normal is. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
And that's it. I think I had my first beer more than earlier than I had my first cigarette.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had my first beer, like my first official beer, not those. Oh, I'm gonna sneak a sip out, from the party,
Right.
But my first beer, I think I was like 13.
Oh shit.
I think I was 13, and my dad, called me out back. He was drinking in the back over there by the fire, and he's like, "Sit down." I was like, "All right."
Oh, you had one of those moments?
He's like, "Here, it's about time."
That's cool.
He's
That's
like,
cool.
He said, don't tell your mom." I was like, "All right." So, but it was like, it wasn't like we kept drinking. It was just that one. It was like, I was like, it tastes like water. It tastes like dirty
You,
water.
do you remember the first time you got drunk?
Oh, the furry. Oh, man, I got drunk so many times when I was young. Um, I remember this one time I was at a car show, man, and dude, I would drink a lot with my uncle. Shout out to my uncle. We would go to these car shows, and mind you, I'm under the age of 18. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I'm probably like 15, 16, somewhere in there. We go to these car shows, you know what I'm saying? And growing up around lowriders and donks and dope boys and all this stuff, uh, we go to these big old car shows, when we went to the car shows and we're talking about big chests full of Coronas, like big fucking
Hmm.
chests full of ice, get the beer, you know. And we were always drinking like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, here, drink. I remember. I'll tell you this story before I say I go into this other story. So we were out there drinking one day. One day at my uncle's house, he's cooking out. We're cooking out. My mom, my mom was always against us. Like she didn't really approve of us hanging out with my uncle.
Because she knew that you'd drink and get in trouble, or what?
Well, she knew that my uncle did some shady shit. The business he did wasn't always within the law. But
I feel you.
and she wasn't. And my mom and my dad were real religious at that time. They were real in the church, and still are. Don't get me wrong, but it was just like overly religious. Like I mean, Pokemon was the devil.
Oh yeah.
And Disney.
My grandma
was,
too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And so, anyways, we're sitting there, right? We're all cooking out at my uncle's house, and my uncle's like, "All right, get in here. We gotta be careful because we already been drinking. We drink already with my uncle all the time. But my mom doesn't know that.
Right.
So we got a beer out there. And we're drinking. My uncle, he's beside the grill. He's cooking, and I'm drinking. He's like here. And so I started drinking my beer. And then my mom walks out the front door.
You got
And
one in your hand?
it's like I have it here, and I go like this, and I put it down
Oh,
on the
shit.
grill. You know what I'm saying? And my mom comes around. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, talking. He's like, "What? They're just right here." Like, she's like, "You better not be letting them drink. They better not be over here drinking." And she's like, "There ain't nobody drinking out here. I'm the only one drinking." And she's like, "Well, then whose beers are those?" Because there's two beers on the thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, these are my beers. And he takes one, he chugs it, he throws it back, and he just chugs the whole thing. He's like, you see?
Oh, shit.
They're
Took one from the
mine.
team.
And then she goes, all right now, I'm watching y'all. And she walks back inside. And this my uncle goes, oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
He's like, fuck. He's like, you gave me fuck out here. I caught a buzz out here.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's like, you better hope I don't burn this meat.
Couple of beers.
So anyways, but going back, man, like I said, we had this car show, right? And this is a big chest, and we just start throwing them back, and we're drinking all day and all night, man. Like I said, I'm drunk there.
No food either, huh?
No, I mean, it's the car show. We're walking it off.
Yeah.
And last thing I remember, man, I'm sitting there, and there's a picture of me somewhere out there, and they're holding me up, and to take the picture. And they tell me, my uncle's like, hey, take them back to the van and let them sleep it off, So they throw me in the van, and I'm in there like, all right, I'm sleeping. And then at some point, I think I wake up and I come back out. I'm still drunk. I'm
yeah,
like,
of course.
I'm like, what the fuck, where am I at? And I get back up there, and they're all, everybody's all pumped because they're handing out the trophies and stuff. And I'm like, oh, man, yeah. And then we hear the car club name being announced. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And you just hear me in the back, yeah, white power.
Oh, no. Why?
Why? I don't know. Why?
Oh.
Why not? Yeah.
Shit. The shit we do when we're drunk. Like, the brain does not function properly, dude.
Yeah, no, my brain doesn't function properly already as it is. Don't give me alcohol.
I know, motherfucker.
Don't give me alcohol. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of, you better drink some of that beer.
But the nickname that my uncle, and then they call me White Man.
Oh,
because growing up, I wore boots, I sung country music, I listened to country music all the time. The jeans, blah blah, and that's how I dressed because that's where all my friends were. My friends were country guys. And the way that I talk,
You do have a southern undertone to your talk.
It was worse. It was worse back then.
I notice it when it gets later on in the night when you and I are like playing games or something.
Yeah,
I'll notice because you're not. All your defenses are down. You're tired. We're focused on something else, and some of that southern will slip through a little bit.
It'll come out.
Dude, let me tell you, the first time I ever got hammered. Ever.
Oh, what? I'm not done. Let me finish it.
You got one. Okay. Go ahead.
So in that same day, and I'm sitting there and I talked to one of my uncle's buddies, and I'm like, man. I tell him, I look at him, I said, hey, yo, and I won't say his name, but I'll say like Peter. I said, yo, Peter. I said, let me fuck your wife.
Dude.
I said, she got a fat ass.
How old are you?
I'm like 15, 16, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, at this point, again, and don't get me wrong. Like I said, I think the ego was there, man, because, my uncle was a top-notch player. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was big dog.
He was the
man.
man.
What I'm saying? Everybody who was anybody, like, knew my uncle. Like, I'm talking about dudes that would come up and pull up, and these guys are riding around, big chains, big, what I'm talking about? And they all come talk to my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, what I'm saying he's painting the cars, you know, and we'll say the business he was doing, he was hooking their cars up, you know, with the audios and the speakers and everything. He was known
Yeah,
for that, you know. He was that guy,
yeah,
you know, putting the hydraulics in the cars and the candy paint on the whips, you know, and he was doing it up, you know, and
dude,
that's what
that's
he was.
mad
That
talent to be able to do that shit.
yeah, we'll say that's what he was known for, you know. That's the profession he was known for. That's why
Yeah.
these you know. Anyways,
Anyway,
and so I kind of had that ego, you know. I'm like, hey man, you know, like. You know, we would sit down. I'm talking about we would go eat, dude. My uncle would take us out to eat, dude, and get whatever you want. You know, what
mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, or you know, yeah, go Jacob. Here, take this down. And I'm like, sometimes I said, we're 15, 16. We're driving down the road using take the truck. Take down the whoa, we're driving. You know what I'm saying? We're driving on the road. Go down there and get some chicken tenders and stuff. Big old bucket of chicken tenders. You know, it's like get us this. What y'all want to eat? Big old burritos and stuff. And you know, and it, you know what I'm saying, when you pull out, you know, from making all that paint, you know, painting all those cars, you know, big old wad of money. And he's like, you know, and he's like, here, boom. I'm like, all right, you know, and so you kind of develop that little bit of ego, you know. But yeah, man, like I said, going back, I was a stupid night for me, man. I ended up passing back out again. Don't worry, they put me to sleep. Uh,
Let me bang your wife.
yeah, man,
She's
you
got a
know,
fat ass. Jesus Christ.
yeah,
My story is not that fun at all. It's not even close to that, but it was expensive. My dad, in 1991, was it one? Anyway, George Bush got elected, and my dad went out and bought a case
which
of,
George W.
I
the
can't
senior
remember.
or
I want to say it was
what's your
1990, 1992, in 89. I don't know. It was around that time. And who was it? No, it was the junior. Anyway, so my father bought a case of inaugural champagne at auction.
Oh,
And so it was the bottles that they had at the fucking thing at his inauguration, you know what I mean? And the ones that weren't drank, and they all had like the label on it, and they were all kinds of cool shit on the bottle. Well, I got my hands on one night, and I popped the top. I was downstairs in my room, and I was like,
not you popping bottles.
I fucking dude, I that night I realized I had a taste for champagne,
Nice.
and I drank 3/4 of that bottle, and then I went and I watched some fucking thing on my computer, some whatever game or whatever I was playing. And about 10 minutes into me playing, that shit kicked in. I passed out on my computer, and when I woke up, I had vomit all over my laptop.
Ah.
I had puked in my sleep all over my computer. It was fried. I had to clean that up, clean me up, clean the bottle up before my dad. And of course, he found out because out of the we had a beautiful wine rack, right? Like a huge wine rack, and out of that there was one empty hole where I'd taken the fucking bottle. I wasn't thinking, I was whatever, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever.
Damn.
But yeah, dude, that was my foray into my first time of getting plastered was on presidential
That's
champagne.
for you right there.
Right. So needless to say, I got my ass beat for that one. But you want to
And you
talk
should
about, oh
have
yeah,
for wasting
absolutely.
that champagne.
It was, and I know it was my first hangover, but it was the worst I've ever had because I learned that,
Ooh.
champagne will fuck you up with the hangover. There's so much sugar in it.
Yeah, dude.
And I didn't know. I woke up the next morning, and that's when I started wearing sunglasses forever. My eyes are still fucked up from that night.
Yeah.
I can't see shit, man. Stop yelling at me.
You know, I will
Uh,
I think, you know, I don't know if it's genetics or what, dude, but I don't get hangovers like that, man. And
so in my 20s, I didn't either. I could go out drinking, have a couple of Long Islands, party all night, dance, karaoke, whatever. I'd be fine. It wasn't until I was gotten to be about 40 that if I had a hard night of drinking, it would catch up with me the next day. But yeah,
Mhm.
like you, in my 20s and early 30s, I never caught it. I was
Yeah.
actually proud of it. It's like, I don't get hangovers. Now
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude.
if I drink 4 beers in an afternoon, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I'll tell you what fucks me up though. What I can't do, I can't drink slushies and Slurpees and shit no more.
why not? You get the
Like,
brain freeze quickly,
dude, quick, like first
quick,
sip.
no matter how
It's
small.
no, dude. I'm telling you, it's like this is excruciating pain, dude. I'm like,
Is there
damn, bro,
nothing worse than the fucking brain freeze?
because there's no way to get rid of it. Like, what do you
You
do?
can't
And
get rid of it.
I mean, people sit there and say, "Oh, hold your tongue to the roof." Yeah, I tried. It doesn't work. Fuck all that
None of
shit.
that works.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it don't work.
And
You just
I'm
got to
just
deal
like,
with it. And it doesn't even last a full 60 seconds. And it's like the most excruciating time.
and the
And you
bad
feel
thing,
it coming on
yeah,
and you're like, oh shit. And then you feel it going away. And you're like,
yeah,
ah.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's just like, man, all right, ease up on them.
But
You know,
do you get it in your head?
I get it on my temples, like right here, dude.
You do see, I get it right in the throat.
How do you get brain freeze? That's throat freeze.
I guess that anyway, that's what it is. Um, but I'll tell
That's
you what, nothing I'll know if I've had a bad night of drinking when I go to bed and I have fucked up dreams. I know I'm gonna wake up in the morning with a stupid hangover.
why? What kind of fucked up dreams we talk about?
Almost like fever dreams, like where things are going fast and you can't focus on anything. And you're always annoyed. Something annoying's happening. You've had a fever dream.
Yeah, I don't. I've had fever dreams, man, but mine are like always really fucked up, man. Like really fucked up shit happen. Like tears in your eyes, fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I don't know if I told. I don't know if I said this on stream that one time. We talked about fucked up dreams. Where one of my dreams that I had, dude, was like I dropped off my youngest daughter at my mom's house, and I went to pick her up, and my mom was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna keep her a couple more days." Okay, cool, no problem. A couple more days go by. I was like, "All right, I'm gonna pick her up." Wait, don't come by yet. I'm like, why not? Well, no, the girl's not ready yet. The girl's not ready yet. I'm like, no, I gotta come get them. You know what I'm saying? I gotta come get them. They're gonna like they've been over there a while. So I go over there, and my mom's like, the girls walk by there. I was like, well, where are the girls at? They're nowhere to be found. And my mom's like being really evasive as to where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
tell me where my fucking kids are. You know what I'm saying? And like I could feel the dread, the instant fucking dread, the
You
despair,
knew something had happened.
dude. And it was a horrible feeling, bro. Like I'm talking about just sickening to my stomach, And it was just that moment. It was like it was, and in one instant I felt panic, I felt
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, I felt just grotesque despair just into my stomach knotted up, dude. Sadness, dude, anger, confusion, and I just remember like in that moment I'm like, fuck, what the fuck is going on? Like, where the I'm freaking out, and I'm like, but I snap back and I'm like, this is a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up. And I wake up because I have the ability to wake myself up when there's like a dream that I don't like. I wake myself up,
Okay.
but I gotta catch it first. I have to catch it, you know, and it's usually, like I said, me catching it is more or less. Um, Over the years, I've developed a skill where it's like I can continue a dream if I so choose to,
I wish, dude.
and so like let's say I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up because I gotta pee, but I'm having a really good dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fall asleep thinking about the dream and recollect and going through the dream of how it was happening and everything, and then I'll continue on into that dream.
I can't tell you how many times I've had a brilliant dream interrupted because I've had to take a leak and then I go back to sleep and it's something completely else. Never a continuation.
Yeah.
Maybe once or twice in my life.
But yeah, dude. Like I said, and I've had when I was younger, dude. I had really bad dreams. And me being somewhat of a religious type person, I attest this to being, in a house full of, you know, vibes, energies, religious, spiritual battles, whatever you want to call it, and of good and evil, because my dreams back then were bad, like they were not good. These were dreams of something chasing me, and you don't know what it is, but you constantly feel that pressure on the back of your neck, like somebody like just running
Mm-hmm.
after you,
Yeah.
and dreams of me passing away, seeing how I was gonna die, um, you know, and
Really?
yeah, and it was like it was like I said, it was not good, man. It was not good. Um, but again, like I said, those times were weird times for me and my family because again, my family is struggling and trying to find God, you know, and meanwhile they're still, my mom and dad are still going through their own battles, you know, relationship wise, you know, my dad drinking, my mom out there, you know, doing whatever she was doing, and them, you know, fighting each other and arguing. So it was not a safe or good household at all, you know. And then the whole time, you know, they're trying to bring God into this to fix it, you know, and they're, you know, using religion because everybody's trying to find some form of, I don't know
Peace.
what you, yeah, some form of peace, and you know, and so it's not a
Seriously, that's what it
healthy.
is.
Yes, it's not a healthy. Like I said, and I grew up, and it was, and like I said, my parents, by all means, were not saints. You know, I'm
Mhm.
still here today. I'm still alive, thank God. You know, but we had our own little fuck ups. You know, at home. You know, where my parents were just like sometimes they were not the best parents. You know, and
Look, but nobody gives kids. I'm
no,
not defending
no,
bad parents or anything, but nobody gives parents a rule book. I got 3 kids. You got, kids.
yeah, there's plenty of times where I fuck up as a parent. I'm just like, look,
Fuck up
man,
every day, dude.
I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, I'll do better.
I fucked up a half hour before the show,
Yeah,
but I recognize it and we talked. But still, you know what I mean.
yeah.
Anyway,
But going, like I said, these dreams, man. But I tell you, my dreams used to be so bad that I didn't pray for much growing up. But I did pray, and I would always pray for the Lord or for God not to let me dream again. That's
Jesus,
how
dude.
bad my dreams were.
God damn.
And one day they stopped, dude. One day my dreams just stopped. And I stopped
When
dreaming
was
for a long time. I probably stopped around the age of 16, 17, somewhere in there.
when did it come back?
My dreams started to come back uh, probably around my 20, 23, 22, 24, somewhere around there. You know, I
What
would
had
have a
changed?
dream.
Did you
I
move
would
out
have a
or
dream every once in, yeah, you
you got
know,
away from it?
yeah. Um yeah, dude. So I can attest to, you know, dreams and the feeling, dude, that you have in those. And I think that's where I got that ability from, was to be able to get out of those dreams, man. Because in those dreams back then, I couldn't get out. I was stuck,
Right.
and I experienced sleep paralysis, you know. And I remember one time feeling like I fell asleep on the floor. I think I was staying with my dad in Savannah, and I was on the floor. I was asleep, and I woke up. But I woke up and I saw myself on the floor asleep.
Oh shit. That's scary.
And I'm like, huh. But again, that feeling of something watching me. And I'm looking.
Well, that's
And
that's the sleep paralysis thing we've always talked about,
yeah,
right? Is when you
yeah,
get the paralysis, you always feel like something's
yeah.
eyeballing you.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's going on, you know? And it's more like you start feeling like the presence. Like if I was a helpless deer and there was something stalking me like a fucking predator, you know, in the bushes. That's how it feels.
You'd
And
be
it's almost
frozen in the
and it's
headlights.
almost like you know it's there. You heard the bushes rustle, and you
Yeah.
know it's there. And you feel that instant dread. And you're like, but where is it at? You
Right.
know. And I'm sitting there, and I remember the feeling of trying to make myself kick my leg because there's a metal. I'm laying and I'm sleeping against this TV entertainment system, and it's glass, and it has those little glass doors where you click. It's like a magnet.
Push it in and then it
Yeah,
comes
it
out.
clicks
Yeah,
out.
the
Yeah,
little
you know.
magnet pad.
But
Yep.
and if you click that motherfucker, you know it's gonna make a loud ass noise. You
Yep. It
know.
goes. "Dun."
Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to tell myself to kick the thing with my foot. You know, to wake myself up or to wake somebody else up, and my body will not move. You know, and I'm stuck. And like I said, and it just like I just feel was it's just presence, just getting closer, closer, and closer. And in those moments, man, like I said, I end up praying, dude. I just I wake up.
Did the
So
prayer help? Did you find that the prayer helped when you were having that, or was it just a form of focusing on one thing? I'm going to pray. It's going to take my mind into a specific spot so I can tune the rest out. I'm just curious because you know me.
you
I
know
always want to find the explanation.
I'll tell you this, and I'll be honest with it. Back then, I don't think the prayer was doing much. Now, I say this from the point of view where I've had things happen to me, spiritual things that that allow me to know that there is a higher being or somebody else up there. Something of a different presence that exists truly. I can say that without a doubt in my mind that there is something out there, or someone. But the experience that I felt then versus then is two different things. You can feel the presence, when you're being assisted or when you're being helped by something of a divine nature. You feel it. It's almost like an overwhelming presence that's taking the load off your shoulders. It's like if you were to wear this backpack all day, and everybody's just putting all their baggage in it. It's like, oh, Anson, come here. Let me give you an earful, and it just they're like, oh, I had a fucking bad day. My bills and blah blah blah. And then your bag gets bigger, and then somebody else says, oh, Anson, come here. Let me tell you something over here, man. Can you believe this? And then your bag gets bigger, and you're just walking around. And next thing you know, you're hunched over, and somebody says, hey, let me get that for you, and then
Yeah.
that's how it feels. But back
I'm
then, dude,
jealous. But real quick, I'm jealous because when I had religion forced on me as a child, which is why I'm an atheist now, maybe because of that and because I became an atheist, I've never felt that relief of unburdening. But I've also never felt that heavy. Like I've never felt like how the Christians will say God never gives you anything you can't handle.
mhm,
I've always felt whether it's the universe or luck or whatever, we'll talk about luck later, whatever it is, I've always felt like maybe I'm just the luckiest guy in the world that I don't carry that baggage. Or maybe it was because I went through so much as a kid that I learned not to give a shit about other people's baggage. I don't know what it is, but I've never been able to tune that to higher power.
mhm.
Like every time I've prayed, it's always felt like it fell on deaf ears as a
Yeah.
kid. I went through a lot, dude. I wish I could tell the listeners exactly how much I went through. And I'd pray about it because I was religious back then. My grandmother was, Hispanic, and just like yours. I mean, I guarantee that your grandmother and my grandmother prayed exactly the same.
Oh yeah.
You
Gotta get
know
the
what I
candles
mean?
out. Gotta get
Just
the candles
the
lit.
candles with the Jesus on it, or the Santo Nino de Atocha, or you know what
Yeah,
I
the
mean? Just
damn rosemary rosaries.
dude. I can tell you, I got a rosary over here. I can pray the rosary for you right now. I know every prayer. And through all of that, through all of my schooling of being around people that praised the Lord, and see, people that praise the Lord or felt joyous, sing a joyful noise unto the Lord and all this stuff. I never got that joy from it. So I just figured, well, maybe there's nothing here. So I kind of wanted to, the reason I bring this up is because I want to go off of back to what you said. And I want to ask you what specifically, because you're like, I know God exists. I know he's there. You just said, what has happened in your life? Because I've had many instances where I'm like, that was lucky, but I can't say God came down from heaven and stopped the bullets, like in Pulp Fiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, have you had one of those miraculous moments where God has shown himself to you? Because fucking I have not. And I'm jealous of people that have.
I'll say this. We can compare apples to oranges, and we can compare luck to religion. For the sake of the conversation, and I say, was it luck or was it divine intervention? And for me, I'll tell you right now, I don't have any good luck. Like I told you before, it could be raining pussy, I'd still get smacked in the face with a dick. You know,
I'm trying to drink a beer over here. You make it.
dude, I've bought scratch offs many times in my life, never won anything. I've entered many
Sorry, that was funny
competitions,
shit.
never won a competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have that kind of luck. Like, look, dude, I just think about something wrong. I can see, I sit there be driving, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm fucking running out of gas. I ain't got no money. At least my tire's not flat. And all of a sudden, the tire light will come on. You know, that's the kind of luck that I have. That's the kind of luck that I have.
But is that God or is that
So
luck?
no, I think
Is
again
God
to
putting that flat tire in your way to save you from getting into a T-boned in an accident down the
I think
street,
I
like
think
some
I
people
think
believe?
I think I'm putting that in my own way.
I mean, you're the one that needs to fill your tires. You're the one that needs to put gas in your car.
Yeah, you knew. I knew them tires were bald
Hmm.
200,000 miles ago.
I saw the fucking wires sticking out when I was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, But I will say this: with the difference between for me, dude, and this is just my experience. Um, there are times where I don't tell. As a man, we don't tell many people our problems, if any.
No, I talked to you, dude,
Exactly. Like I said, if anybody.
and
We
Frank.
we don't
You're
we
like
don't
my
even.
two people I talked to.
We're in our head. The most of the
Yeah.
time we're dealing with stuff in our head. We're talking about our things, dude. And when I'm sitting there, dude, and I'm driving and the fucking gas light comes on and I still gotta fucking go to work, the rest of the fucking week, dude, I don't get paid and I'm like, fuck, dude. And as a man, you're like, well, what the fuck do I call my parents? Do I beg them for money? Do I so I can listen to my parents tell me how, oh, I need to manage my life better?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
I sit there and no offense to women out there, but again, this is that masculinity mentality that's so bad for men to
Preach,
have.
brother.
Like,
I know what you're gonna say. Say it.
and I don't want to sit there and ask my old lady, hey man, you got $20 I can have,
Nope.
like, no, dude,
That's not our job.
you're the fucking provider, dude. You're
That's
supposed
right.
to have this shit as a man. That's what you're supposed to do. This is what we've been taught. Like if you can't make money grow out of the fucking ground, dude, you're worthless as a man. You know, and if you can't solve your fucking problems, if you have to sit there and allow somebody else to help you, you're a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And you don't deserve the happiness. You don't deserve the family because obviously you can't handle it. You can't. You're not responsible enough. You don't deserve any of that. So that's the stuff that weighs on the minds of men. And so you're sitting there, man. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Fuck, what the fuck am I gonna do? I can pawn something. I can sell something. Fuck it. I'll sell my gun or whatever. Like I got shit. I can. This is the stuff that we talk about. They think about how are
Mhm.
we gonna make it. And we'll sacrifice so much. For the sake of anything. Like I'm not. I'll never sit there and be like, oh, I can sell my daughter's TV. No, what the fuck? I'll sell
No, no,
my
no, no,
own.
no.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll sell my phone. I'll sell my shit first. You know,
I'll sell a testicle before I ask one
yeah,
of my kids for
like I'll go
money.
give blood if I got to. Come home all bandaged the fuck up.
I've done it. I still got the fucking scar.
Exactly what happened. Oh, they had mandatory flu shots at work.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
right.
and so I'm sitting there, man, and I'm like, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do. What can I pawn? What I got to do to sell? And won't you know, like, I'll be at work, and I've had customers just tip me money, dude, out of nowhere. And I'm not talking about like $2, dude. I'm talking about like 10, 15, $20.
Yeah, out of nowhere, a 20 ends up in your hand.
I'm
You're like, what
like,
the fuck?
all I did was clear your history on your phone. You know what I'm saying? All I did was, give you, I just sold you a phone. I didn't do anything but give you customer service.
All I did
You
was
know?
clear your history off your phone. Yeah, but you saved me 20 years in prison, motherfucker. Thank you. Here's 20
Yeah,
bucks.
you saved my marriage.
You
No,
saved
like
everything.
it's not even that. Like, okay, some old people will have problems, dude, and they'll be like, "Oh, what'd you do?" I was like, "I just turned your phone." They don't know how to turn their phone on.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
dies, and they're like, "Oh, it's broken," and they bring it in. I'm like, "No, I'll show you. Let me show you how to do it," and I'll show them how to do it, and they'll be like, "Here." I'm like, You don't need to pay me for showing you how to turn your phone on," and they're like, "No, take it," and they'll put it in my pocket, and I'm like, "Hey, appreciate it," It, like I said, in that moment, dude, I'm like, weight comes off, and I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank God, like it's just like, and I have to give thanks to the man because I've told no one.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always just been by the maxim that the universe tends to unfold exactly as it needs to. Like I think everybody has opportunities for salvation, even if it's a flat tire that you avoided or that guy gives you a tip when you needed it the most. You know what I mean? I, I've never prayed for something and got it. Things just kind of happen. And I don't know if, like, going down to the last topic of the show, luck or not, I don't know if I'm just the luckiest motherfucker in the world, but
Oh,
it
you
always
definitely
seems
got
like,
luck. You definitely got some
well,
luck on
no,
your
no,
side.
no.
I'll tell
But
you that. I've
you
seen.
say
I've
that
watched the races with you.
you say that because you've seen me bet horse racing, but you have to remember though, dude, that's not luck. That's me making educated guesses on somebody who's been following these jockeys and horses for years.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like how people study basketball players. I study horses and jockeys and trainers and shit. So I'm
Yeah.
making the most educated guess. when you and I fucking around, you've seen me lose plenty on those nights where I'll lose it by a nose. You and I, we're both sitting there. Yeah, come on, and the fucking thing loses.
And
I
then what
don't
happens? He
believe that.
turns around. He's like, I just won 50. I'm like, oh, what the
Well,
fuck?
then I'll send you a message. And be like, yeah, I just won $75.
Yeah, I just won 500. I was like, what the fuck happened? I'm over here on a $2 scratch off. Like, come on, what'd you win?
I don't.
Another ticket.
I do. That reminds me of that night that you got onto the Georgia lottery and figured out how to buy scratchers on there online.
I'll tell you, dude. I'm saying
That was a fun night for me.
you saw it. It was like, oh yeah,
I
yeah.
saw it.
Oh, it's gone.
You, you
$20
won
gone.
one ticket, but yeah, you won.
What a ticket. That was it. It's gone. $20. That's it. I was like,
So let me
damn.
ask you a question then. I win a horse race. Is that God's will?
You never know. I'll say this. I'll say, is it God's will for you to live life the way you want it to?
Well, no. Because
You
if I
know,
want to live the life, if a murderer wants to live his life the way he wants to, then he's out there murdering. So is that God's will?
but that's the thing though. I'll say that God's will is for us to be free. That's what
That's
God
not
willed.
true. That's not true.
I'll
Look at the
say
book
God,
of Job.
but God willed it for us to be free. He basically that's what He gave us the right to choose.
Job didn't look. I go to Job a lot, right? Because that's one of the books of the Bible that hit me the hardest. The reason why is because it really made me believe that. And I'm not. Look, people are like, if you're an atheist, then you must believe in the devil. No, if I don't believe in God, I don't believe in the other side either. I believe in nothing up there, right? The kingdom of heaven to me is empty. The kingdom of hell doesn't exist. But as far as stories go, in the book of Job, even Satan had to ask God, "Can I strike him down?" And God said, "No, I'll let you put him through tests, but you can't kill him." And you know what Satan said? "All right, I'll give him my worst, but I won't kill him." So he still had to ask God for permission to fuck this guy's life up, which God said, "Okay, because we're going to test his fucking fortitude and see how holy and pious he is." That's what makes me think we don't have free will, because God, if we had free will, Job would just be living his life. No, God and Satan played with this guy like a toy, which means they're
Yeah,
manipulating free will for their own ends. So I don't believe in free will.
I can understand that. I can see.
I don't understand. I don't
How
believe
you
in
can.
biblical free will.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now, does one, as far as science goes, does one molecule affect the other molecule? If there's an
I
atom
think
over a molecule over here in space and there's one in Neptune, they're connected.
I think
So
people
maybe
have this
that's where these
notion
things
that
happen.
me personally, people believe that God is all knowing, almighty, and perfect. I don't
That's what the
believe.
book says.
I don't believe that He was perfect, and in a sense of not necessarily saying that He isn't Him, He isn't who He says He is, but in the end, the same way that He recreated the laws of the world, the Ten Commandments. Because the Old Testament and the New Testament are two different completely things. Because back then was an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth,
Hmm.
and then rewritten was what turn the other cheek.
Well, yeah, but everybody said that God mellowed out once he had a kid.
So this is what I'm saying. So with that, you have to understand that just as we grow, God grew to
But
know
does
and to
that give
learn
him
to
the
different
right?
things.
So that makes it okay that he started a flood and killed millions of people?
Doesn't make it
Let me ask you a
okay,
question.
no.
Let me ask you a question. For as much as the Christians love the Bible, how many people did God actually kill? Because, he burnt cities to the ground. He raised armies against other armies, in the name of the Lord. How many people in the Bible did the devil kill? Zero. In fact, in Job, he had to ask permission to fuck with people. So who's the evil one, God or Satan? This is why I don't worship. I have all these questions. I don't believe this stuff. That's why when people are like, the Lord opened his arms to me and I felt that warm embrace, I'm like, I would love to feel that. I'm jealous that you feel that, but I can't believe in the steps that get me to that point.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to have an epiphany if you put hot stones on your back. Well, I don't want that. That sounds like it sucks. So I'll never have an epiphany because I'm not going to put hot stones on my back.
I don't want
You know
to
what I'm
rub back
saying?
you. But I mean, but it just entails like I mean, when I had my experience, dude, I wasn't. I wasn't in no white robes, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to church every fucking weekend, dude. I wasn't living the life that was holier than thou. You know, I was drinking, I was smoking, I was having premarital sex. You know what I'm saying? Like I was me. I was doing the same shit that I've been doing. You know, like there was nothing in there that was like, oh, I've come so much closer to heaven that now I'm able to see God. No, there was nothing like that. There was nothing in my life that I was doing any different. It was literally that one day that I decided to go to church. Um, and I went there, and honestly, I think I went because my mom kept nagging me about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go. But I'll tell you,
It's
in that
boring.
moment, yeah, I mean, dude, being forced to go to church and going and wanting to go is two different things. Like
Very, very
after
different
years
thing.
of being forced and dragged in there, dude, and not understanding what the hell these people are talking about, I don't want to go. I don't want to go back. That's like making me go back and sit there and listen to my fifth grade teacher, and she stuttered and she spit a lot, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit in her class.
No, asking me to go to church like asking me to eat a rock. I just know I'm not going to enjoy it, so don't even bring it up.
So but that, like I said, I went there, and I
Did
don't
you
even
ever
remember.
feel God's presence there?
I don't even remember I don't even remember what the heck they were talking about. Cause like I said, it's in Spanish, so I'm just like bits and pieces of it,
Okay.
And I just remember when they started praying. They started praying, and I was like, you know what? I could use some prayer. That's what I decided. I said, you know what? I would really like somebody to pray for me. I've always seen it. I've seen it a million times. People get up there and people pray for them and stuff like that, and I was like, I would like somebody to pray for me. I would like somebody to care about me enough to want to pray for me to get better, to want to pray for me to have a better day, a better life. That's what I wanted. I
Okay.
wanted to feel actually cared for, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You wanted to be
And
part of something. You wanted to be
so
included and welcome to the group, and
no, I
like
didn't. I didn't want. I didn't want to. I didn't want to be included. There was nothing.
no,
There
no,
was
no.
nothing
What
like
I
that.
mean is that surrounding of like that warm hug from God. You needed something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like living, dude. I don't know if I told everybody, but I've been on my own, dude, since I was 17. Like living on my own since I was 17, out of the house. Put myself through high school. Kept a job, paid rent. So like, and I at that point I had already cut ties with, like, as far as like my family wise, not my brothers, but more or less my parents. It's just like, hey, I'm on my own. I'm doing it. Like, thanks for getting me this far. You know, but at that point I didn't need them. You know,
You
um,
need God. Is my question.
Did I
Look,
do I
you
did I need him then? Like, I didn't think so. No, like I said, I was living my dude. I had money, dude. I had money in my pocket,
yeah,
dude. I
you were
I
doing the
was
card thing, right? And you were
yeah.
living good life and you had your own place. Is that because you believed in God and he was helping you, or is it because you were fucking
No,
smart and you're the person that you are and you know how to hustle and get it done?
no. Like I said, that was me. But again, I was doing things that, in the end, yeah, I was happy in the moments. But when it was all said and done, I came home. I was alone. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
but
So
guess
I
what? Tomorrow's
wasn't.
gonna
I
you're gonna
was.
have more good times.
See, but that's the thing, though. I was feeling my life, and I was filling it up with momentary happiness. You know what I'm saying?
So
Things that
what?
were
What?
just. But see, that's the thing, though. I didn't want. I don't want momentary. I want happiness that lasts. I don't
But
want to
all
have to
life is a
feel.
series of moments.
Yeah, but no, no, it's not true.
We're in
I
a
mean,
moment right now. Let's
well,
enjoy
I
it.
know what
Let's
you're
not
saying,
worry
and
about the
in a
next
literal
moment.
sense, yes. But when I get off of this, podcast with you,
Hmm.
I don't want to turn this microphone off, and all of a sudden I'm depressed. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
I don't want to be the parasite in somebody's life, the leech on somebody's back, just siphoning their life because my life isn't worth it. And so again, I was looking for that. I wanted that happiness that didn't come from me sleeping with a woman. I wanted that excitement that didn't come with me, you know, doing drugs or smoking weed and drinking beer. You know that I had to go out and look for. You know,
As
I
the Bible
wanted,
said, you wanted the peace that passed understanding.
yeah, you know, I wanted to be happy and just wake up and be like, hey, I felt good. Sure, I'll have a beer if I want one, but do I need it? Do I need a beer to have fun? You know, as people say, I don't want to. You know, you think you have to drink to have fun? You know,
Right.
I didn't want that. I don't because I was living there. I was going to the bar every night. Every night, I was at the bar. These motherfuckers knew my
Was it for
name. They
the
knew my
alcohol or
face.
for the social though?
It was both. It was everything. Going
It was
there
the
for the
whole
women,
experience.
do the whole experience. I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was living my life because that's what made me quote unquote happy.
Right.
But when I wasn't at the bar, I wasn't happy. I was okay, but I was waiting to go to the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was looking for
Well,
people to take with me to the bar.
but we all have these impressions that we need to, that happiness has to be gained every second of your life. And look, right there, that's exactly what I was going to say. You can't, happiness doesn't last. Like you have a moment. You're on a roller coaster. You go, like I took my kids to Disneyland, right? I had 3 days of fucking pure happiness. There was very little strife on that trip. Then I come home and you're back to the mundane world. Now, am I happy in the mundane world? No, but I'm satisfied. Happiness and satisfaction are two different things. You just got everybody wants happiness, no matter what it is, right? But nobody claims to want satisfaction. Now I'm going to go back to the Bible. There's nothing worse than an atheist who knows the fucking Bible. But when they asked Jesus, "What do we pray for?" He said, "Just ask that your joy is full." Now that doesn't mean that you have to have an orgasmic moment of excitement every 10 minutes. You just got to be comfortable where you're at, buddy.
And that's the thing, though. I wasn't. So let's just rephrase it. Let's say I was looking for satisfactory instead of just
Okay.
overall happiness. I think we're thinking two different things. When you think
I think
happiness, I think
so.
you're thinking like, oh hell yeah, you know I feel great. I'm all amazing. You know I'm super happy. I'm smile. That's not. I understand. That's not what I'm talking about though. Let's just say satisfactory for the sake of the word that we agree on.
Okay.
I'm looking for satisfactory. That doesn't come in the form of me giving myself to somebody else. That doesn't come in the form of me seeking something from somebody else, you know, and doing what I need to do to make myself feel that, you know.
So, in your perfect mind of when you were living back then, what would have been your happiest? What would have made you the happiest? Having a somebody, a partner in your life back then, or more
Back then
money, or
I
what?
was back then the what things that made me happy was I think I was always striving for companionship. You know, like that's
There
what
is
made me happy,
nothing.
and it didn't matter to me back then, dude. And I'll admit it,
No,
it
I
didn't
get it.
matter to me if it was my girl, somebody else's girl. It was like as long as I had somebody that I didn't have to be alone for that day, you know.
That's what it is. There's nothing worse than coming home to an empty apartment and knowing that nobody else is coming home. Do you know what I mean? I get
Yeah.
that.
Well, you know, and so again, I'm feeling this empty feeling. You know, what I'm saying I got money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got people I can call. I got women I can call. You know, I got a car. You know, like I turn heads. You know, I'm not a bad looking dude. So why? Why do I feel like there's nothing there? You know, I just feel numb. You know, and I
Where
was like,
was your God then, Jacob? Just
he,
kidding.
well,
Just
you know, exactly. Where was he? Because I wasn't looking for him.
you were looking for him.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't need him. That's what I thought in my mind. Why I need God? I got money. You know what I'm saying? Why I didn't want to go to church, dude? I can go to car shows. I can go see titties. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I want to sit in church and listen to these boring people tell me what to do.
Right.
You know, like in my mind, I felt so much distaste towards humanity, dude. It was like, cause my parents, like I said, they didn't help raise
Well,
me. I was like, they didn't. You know what I'm saying?
did,
What did I need them for? I didn't need them. I don't need God.
so did that come from, did that feeling come from not being fulfilled at home? Like because there was so much strife and there was nobody to give you the warm hug that you just never felt. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm
think we
curious.
all need it. I think it's very important for children to have that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, because you always see it, and it's a you always see where the the father's never satisfied, and the kids are always killing themselves to make. Just want to hear your dad say, "I'm proud of you."
Dude, I have to. I make sure. 'Cause I never got that. I make
You know
sure
what I'm
I tell
saying?
my
Like,
kids every fucking day,
you know what I'm
every
saying?
day.
And it fucks with you as a child. You know what I'm saying? It fucks with you
It
until you're
does
an
when you don't
adult.
get the love. Yeah.
Yeah. So you of course you're looking for that. That's just human nature. You know, and like I said, but at the same point, I turned it off. You know, just like you did. You turned it off, and I was like, I don't need it. I don't need my parents' approval no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm my own man. You know, but it
Well,
doesn't. It does. It
now
doesn't.
I
It
think
doesn't.
my wife took the place. I don't want to disappoint her
Well,
or the
yeah, you
family, so
know,
there's always
but
somebody to hold me accountable.
but and it
I,
doesn't. But
I
it doesn't get rid of the fact that, like, even when I still call my mom, I still feel like when I tell her what I'm doing, I still feel like I'm not amounting to what she thinks is approval, like approval worthy.
I get that. I
You
used to do the
know?
same thing. I call my dad, and I it's never. I always knew that whatever I was doing was not going to be good enough.
Yeah, exactly. So
We could be on. We could be as you and I could be as popular as Howard Stern. And I tell my dad, and he's like, "Only 100 million? How come you don't get 101 million views?"
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about?
So again, like I said, it fucks with you, man. It fucks with you. Like I said, so I cut it off, and I was like, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need you. I don't need them. I don't need God. I don't need anybody. I got myself. So I lived a lot of time, a lot of time with just feeling that basically I got myself. I'll do it myself. I don't need anybody. So, but this particular night, like I said, I went to church because my mom wanted us to go. So I was like, ah, fuck, it, I'll go. You know, you want me to go? It's not gonna kill me. I didn't have anything planned, anyways. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right. And the service isn't bad, like I said. It's just sitting there, and you know, the thing about it, I'll ask my mom, I'm like, how long is it gonna be?
Yeah.
You know,
It-
which is
my
which
grandma
is
used to be
great.
that.
You
My
know, which
grandma
is
said, as long
crazy.
as it takes.
Yeah, you know, exactly. You know, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and what's crazy now is I tell my daughter, you know what I'm saying, when they pray, and they were like, I was like, pray for your food. All right, that's it? That's all you got? I said, all right. I said, I want you to think about this. I said, when you get up there, and God's gonna judge your life, and He goes, all right, next. Wait.
So,
When you need something, and God goes, all right, go ahead. All right, you're done. Uh, and then so I'm like, make it meaningful, make it mean something. You know what I'm saying? Make it heartfelt. Don't just. All right, I got it out the way. Imagine if you did your wife like that, dude.
no,
She'd strangle you.
no, she'd beat the shit out of me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen to
Cut my
me.
shit
All
off
right,
in the
go
middle of
ahead.
the night.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
There's sometimes she gets on my ass, and she's like, "Are you trying to dismiss me?" I'm like, "No, sit down. Let's talk for a really long time, please." Fuck. God damn it.
But anyways, going back to that night, like I said, I'm sitting
Yeah.
there, and okay, it is what it is. I'm just ready for it to get over. Like I said, there's nothing part of me that wants to be there, you know. And so they start praying, and everybody's praying. I'm just looking around. I'm like, just looking around, seeing who's acting a fool, you know, who's cutting up, who's faking, who's fake faking,
Mhm.
you know. And
You guys did that in your church too, right? The when you're praying, the fall backwards.
yeah. And see, that's
Yeah.
one
What is
thing.
that?
I'll
And the
explain to you
talking
right
in
now, and
tongues.
I'll explain to you right now what it
Because
is.
I fell back because I wanted to be a part of them doing it when I
Yeah,
went to church.
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm
But
sorry. You just triggered all these memories.
so yeah, so again, I'm just looking because in my mind, that's it. That's what it is. It's just a bunch of fakers, a bunch of posters up here, you know. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, you know, it's been a long time since I spoke to God. Let me see what He's up to. So I
Oh shit!
close my eyes and I bow my head, dude, and I start
Like you were
praying.
dialed in on this.
Yeah, so I pray and I was like, look, I said, I'm gonna tell you what, Lord. I said, I'll be honest with you. I said, I would like, and I was completely 100% honest with Him, with myself, but this is all in my mind. And I said, look, I'll tell you what. I said, I'm going to be honest with you for once. I said, I would like for these people to pray for me. I said, I want to get prayed for. I said, but I'm afraid. I said, I'm scared to go up there by myself. I said, because I don't want people to look at me. I said, I'll tell you, I'll make you a deal. I said, if that man that's sitting up there talking will come all the way back here and get me, I will go up there.
Really? Don't even tell me. Don't even tell me.
I kid you not, dude. I felt a hand on my shoulder, and it was that guy.
No shit.
No shit. Took me up there, dude. So I'm walking, and I'm just in disbelief. And like I said, in this moment, he takes me up there and he starts praying for me. And he's like, "Hey, look, I know you got a lot going on. You know, we all do. You know, but I want you to give it. I want you to talk to God. I want you to continue talking to Him, and I want you to tell Him everything. You know, I want you to let it out." And again, I've always found myself, one of my biggest flaws has always been pride. My pride. You know, has always been
I
a bit
know.
as my ego has always been one of those factors that has always been like, boom, the
Oh, honey,
barrier.
we know. We
Yeah,
know, babe.
you know. So, you know, I tell you, and I tell you why I bring that up. Because in all my years of praying, I can't remember, I can't remember a time where I ever got on my knees to pray to God. Because, again, in my mind, I was the man that raised myself. Who am I? Who are you for me to get on my knees to you? You know,
That's that's mighty egotistical. I will give you that.
hey, it is what it
Who am
is.
I
You
to
know what I'm
get on my
saying?
knees before God? Whatever you say, Leonidas.
Hey,
This is
I'm telling
300.
you,
I will not
I'm
kneel.
just telling you exactly how I felt, dude.
I get it. I get it.
You know, like you know, and again, in my mind, that same thing you said earlier, I was making shit happen for myself.
Hmm.
You know, um, so I sat there, and I'm getting prayed for, dude. And in that instant, dude, in that moment, when I tell you, it's almost like the feeling of being, dude, I didn't even know what to complain about no more. Everything was gone, light as a feather, peace that was just like, I can't even describe it now, dude. If I was a balloon,
Peace that passes understanding. I just told you.
yeah, I was a balloon.
Past your
I was a
understanding.
balloon that was floating in the air. And he put his hand over my head, dude. And mind you, my eyes are open because I'm still in disbelief. I'm still looking like what is going on. And he pushes my head just like a little, you know, while he's praying for me. And instantly, dude, if I was standing in front of one of them big ass fucking fans, dude, that just was like a big fucking warehouse fan, dude, just like like in front of a fucking airplane, you know, when it takes
Hmm.
off. I felt a gust of like power, dude, wind just pulled me back like, and I stumbled, but I didn't fall because my pride. I would not let myself fall.
Mm.
It would not let myself fall, and I felt it again, and my knees kind of gave. But I stood there, and I wept like a fucking grown baby. And like I said, that's one of those things where you know. After that, I didn't need to know. I didn't need to know anything else. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need to know. I didn't need to guess. You know. Now in that moment, I became aware. I became aware of my decisions from there on out. Anything that I chose to do was on me. You know, and you know, when you sit and you file head of household, dude, that means that you are the leader of your family, dude. And I took responsibility of that now, and that, like I said, I go back to that moment, and I know that whatever happens to my family, it is because of me. It is because of where I led them to. You know, so once I knew that, and I knew that even if I continued to live in sin, even if I did things that were wrong, it was on me. You know, like there was nothing else I could do to sit there in faint ignorance any longer. So that's why I live my life like I do now, you know, with more of an understanding, with more of a take accountability for your own actions, You have to understand that when you go in the grave, that's you. There's nobody else going in that casket with you. It's just you.
That's a fucking fact.
This is your life. In the end of the day, you're gonna have to make it amount to something. If you don't, tough shit.
Okay, so this is eternally fascinating to me because the mindsets that people get into, especially in religion. I went to these Pentecostal churches with my grandmother, and it was the speaking in tongues, and it was the people that would pray like you and the falling back, and there was always ushers there to help them lay down and all this stuff, and that was nice, and it was fun, and I always went there wanting that experience, and my grandmother wanted me to have that experience as well, so I fucking faked it. I'd lean back on the usher and he'd lay me down and I'd I it was just a thing that you did to make everybody happy because everybody else was doing it. And my thing that I realized was if I'm faking it, how many of these other motherfuckers are faking it? You're the first time I've actually heard a firsthand account of somebody who's been like, this has happened to me, and this is why I needed to faint or, have that moment. Now that explains a lot. But now you said that in those moments, you had that divine revelation of, I need to take care of my family. I need to be the man here. Why am I coasting on my own druthers when I need to be relying on everybody around me? Let the ego fall to the side. I had that same experience. I had it 22 years ago when I overdosed on mushrooms. And I'm not joking. We're not doing this for laughs. Um, I had a point in that trip. We were drinking mushroom tea and we drank too much. And it really tasted good with the honey. So I was drinking cup after cup. And at one point, I went to this spot where I wanted to throw up. I wanted to laugh, cry, uh, fart. I wanted to weep. I wanted to have an orgasm. Every emotion that I could feel was right there in that one spot. My vision was white. I was nowhere. I wasn't standing in a white spot. It was just white, everything. And I had that I had two epiphanies that night. One, I'm not a man because I'm not doing the shit that I need to be doing. I need to straighten the fuck up. And two, I do not want to be my father when it comes to raising my kids. And it wasn't religion that led me to it, but it was that high that I had had because of that amount of mushrooms that I took. So I guess where I'm going with that is, do you see, or do you feel, or do you have any opinion on the difference in revelation versus religion versus like psychedelics? Because like I said,
No,
I felt everything that you told me in your story, I felt that night when I was on the mushrooms.
I'll tell you this, and it goes back to the old saying that God reveals Himself in many ways, in mysterious ways, and He reveals Himself, to however it takes for you to understand Him. And I'll tell you, I'm a firm believer of what God said of, well, all you need is of this earth. You know what I'm saying? Where He made everything and everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything was there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Mushrooms. There's nothing abnormal about mushrooms. But I believe that there are times and things that we do, such as mushrooms or getting high, that allow us
Or
to
prayer.
let to or prayer to let our guard down, to let ourselves actually be susceptible to something else other than ourselves. And it takes that, like I said, for me, being very prideful, very egotistical, it takes a lot for me to actually sit there and be like, I'm gonna actually listen to you, and actually listen to you, and actually take your advice.
When people talk, do you nod to show them that you're nodding?
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
people like that do that a lot. Like, How many times
I
can I
got you.
nod to show this guy I'm listening to him
Yeah, I'm
and
ready
not
for you to
absorb
shut
a
up.
fucking thing?
I'm ready for you
Yeah,
to shut up.
exactly. I'm
Because I'm
nodding to
not.
get you to stop talking.
I'll tell you that, and I'm saying I feel bad for the people out there, because I still do it to this day, and I don't mean to. I judge you as soon as I walk up to you, as soon as I talk to you. The first sentences that come out of your mouth, the way you shake my hand, the way you present yourself, the way your shoulders are. If you come up to me, you're slouched over, and you don't look confident. Your eyes aren't looking me in my eyes, and you don't look at me in my face. You're under me. You are beneath me.
You know what
I
it is
don't.
for
I don't.
me?
I don't. I
It's
don't. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care how smart you are.
oh no, dude, listen. You could have more degrees than a fucking thermometer. If I look down and I meet you for the first time and I see your shoes are shit, I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
so
know
it's like,
what it is, but shoes mean if you don't take care of your shoes or your car, you don't take care of yourself.
and like I said, and it's bad. It's a bad habit. I'm not saying because there could be someone that walks to work every day, but they're there every fucking day. And their shoes are busted the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you could be walking me because this is your fucking
Well,
12 hour shift.
I
You
don't
know, but
mean
again,
that.
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm wrong. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm wrong at. You know, this is where I'm wrong. I'm not saying what I do is right by no means. You know, but again, like I said, I have to work past that because a lot of the people that I dismissed early on, they're actually pretty cool later on. You know,
I've
and
made some good friends from people I didn't want to talk to. Like, look at
yeah,
that
dude.
schmuck over there. And then later on, he says something funny, and you guys become good. That's how I met
Yeah,
you. I didn't want to deal with
yeah,
you.
yeah. As I say, look at that fucking bald
No, you
black
know what it
guy
was
there.
when
You
I
know what
first
I
met you?
mean?
I was like, look at this fuck, because I met you in that game. I was like, look at this fucking overactor.
Yeah, look at this fucking try hard.
And then, right? And then we had that adventure, and I was like, this is my best fucking friend in the world.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I met you and I was like saw you there, and I was like, and as soon as you were one of the people that took the bait and actually was making something, I gave you the ingredients and you made fucking stew, and I was like, this fucking guy can cook. Good.
See, I was afraid I was going to get left out of it because I was just, and I knew something was going on, and I wanted to be part of it. And I interjected myself like 3 times into that scene in
Yeah.
that fucking game because I needed to be a part of it. I knew something special was happening. Now, was this going back to, because I know we're running long on time, but this is a fascinating conversation and I love talking to you about it. So I give a shit tonight.
It's alright.
Looking back on it, was that divine intervention so that we would meet and have this amazing business that we have together and do this great show and have the PNS studios like we got?
I'll, t-
Was that directed by the Lord or was that just the stew making itself?
I want to say one thing that Josh, you know Josh, our good friend Josh.
Absolute.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Absolute wherever you are, bro.
We
Wishing you
miss
the
you,
best.
baby.
I'll tell you a conversation that me and him had. He says, I want you to think about one thing when you think about everything in God and being, and like, is it divine intervention? Is it real? He says, I want you to think about one thing. You're here because your two parents met. They're here because their parents met. And so on and so on and so on. Do you know how many people had to meet in various circumstances for you to be here, and let alone us to meet in the same exact time and place right now?
Very good point.
He said, think about that and tell me that'll blow your mind. And I said, damn, dude, that does.
And if one day one dude decided not to get on the bus to
Exactly.
meet that lady, he
Boom.
missed the bus because he fucking decided to take a shit before he left the
Yep.
house. The whole timeline is fucked up.
You wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this conversation.
And everything around that would be different. You
I
know what I
might not
mean?
even be born. I might have two hands.
That's shit. Yeah.
But
It's
everything, boom.
that's why I say, and that's where that motto of mine comes from, that the universe tends to work out as it should. Because if it didn't, then things wouldn't happen. We wouldn't know each other if, you know, 80 years ago some shit didn't happen or did happen or whatever, some accident. Now all of a sudden we're here talking to each other. I mean, I live in California, you live in Georgia, and we're the best of friends. We've never fucking shaken each other's hand. And it's
No.
all because of weird circumstances that bring two people together. And then we bring other people together to watch the show. Do you know what I mean? And if we hadn't met, maybe something that we said helps somebody. Who the fuck knows? Isn't it great? Isn't life
Yeah.
just the most delicious thing you've ever been a part of? It's just so
Y'all see me nod in
savory
my
and
head?
full of it, right?
I just fucking with you. I just fucking with you. I'm listening. I'm listening.
You shut the fuck up.
No, I'm listening. I was just going back to that. It's good. Oh no. No, but yeah, dude, that's exactly how I feel about it. That's exactly what I feel about it. Like I said, and absolutely, like I said, he opened up. We had some deep conversations, man. I miss him. But
He's a good dude.
yeah. That's how I feel about it, man. That's exactly how I feel when it's not. If we wanted to take it into break it into a small, simple sentence, dude, I'd say that God has a plan for all of us, and it's up to us to follow that line if we choose to. But you don't have to. You don't have to follow it. I mean, but sometimes when you follow it, and sometimes when you do what you're supposed to do, things click, and you end up with moments like this. You end up with PNS Studios. You end up with the Fat and Spicy Show. You end up with Anson in the Morning. You know. So, like I
Three
said,
wise
that's the three wise men. You know, and
and that's the other thing. Look at the lives that can be reached by coincidence. Now we give Zach a platform. because you and I met and got together and formed PNS Studios. Now we have other shows where people can talk their mind, speak their truth, and maybe help somebody else. I mean, it's wonderful. I love it, dude. The universe, like I said, it's delicious to be alive, dude. And I don't know how else to say it. It's delicious. I love
That's
every
it.
minute of it. I love that you're my buddy. I love that we have PNS Studios, dude. Thanks for letting me go a little bit long today, but this is a great conversation.
Great conversation, guys. And don't forget, man, we want you to be a part of this as well. Guys, if you have any questions, any stories that you yourself would like to talk about, we are more than willing to accept it, guys. Leave a comment under the video. Say, hey, I want to be on the show. I want to be a guest. I want to talk, or I got something to say, or how about this? Give us a question. And if you don't feel comfortable with doing that, maybe you want to keep it private, email us, Spicy. That's PHAT, spicy at gmail.com. Just talk to us. You know what I'm saying? By all means. We are here for you. If you want to sit down and be on but behind the pint with Spicy and talk about your life, you are more than welcome to it. You want to be on the show and just be a
Actually,
guest?
after the show, you and I got to talk about that because I need to get two people on that show. I need to get your buddy that I friended on Facebook, and we need to get Son of Lobster Boy.
Oh yeah. Lobster boy. But guys, as always, we do appreciate your time. And if you got time, maybe you can head on over to our QR code there. All you gotta do is scan that with your phone there, right there, and just donate. You know what I'm saying? We're always looking for new things, new headphones, new microphones. Hopefully one day me and Spice can actually meet.
That would be great.
And we always got new show ideas. If you yourself, maybe you're a talker, maybe you're a thinker, maybe you want to run your mouth like I do. Get at me. I'm willing to give anybody and everybody a
I was
platform.
going to say, let's just go even further than that. If you want a show and you can prove that you can be entertaining, because we're definitely not,
And consistent.
and consistent. That's the thing. You got to be here week after week. You got to commit, dude. We'll take a look. We'll talk to you. We have production staff. We have great producers. We got Jacob and I who work very hard for you. Come on in. Show us what you got.
And until then, though, I'm Phat.
I'm Spicy,
And this is that cigar I bought right here. I'm going to still smoke that.
dude. I knew you had it, and I was gonna save mine for the show, but it had a nice oily wrapper, and I just couldn't wait.
Jesus,
I sucked
dude.
that thing.
Dude, I've been trying to wait to suck this thing right here for a long
Look
time.
at that.